Hello, buddy. Welcome to another stream. How's it going? So last stream we got the entities actually rendering, and we got the little regions rendering as well. So obviously the regions are a bit small, and but it's just a test for now. So we have this entity which moves between different regions as it moves through the scene. So what we probably want to work on next is a way to have a kind of like a floor that gets put down underneath the entities, and each tile or each block is going to be in the entity system. So this is so it can be treated like an entity and have properties and things. And this is all part of the same system. So we're not having to have two different systems interact with each other. It's just one system. So yeah, we're going to add one more feature to the entity code base before we move on. Else. Hey, Devastated. That's when we're in Sweden. Have late summer heatwave. Awesome. Yeah, it's September, isn't it? It's that month where things just go from hot to cold. It can even be quite warm end of September in the UK. So what I would like to do is add it to the actual entity system itself. An entity.c, I think. We want to add like the 3D lookup table. But yeah, I don't know what we would like to do exactly. So we need to say every tile. Yeah, so we'll probably split it down into regions. Yeah, so every region will have a yeah, we could probably just make it a contiguous piece of memory. So it could just be like n ref region regions. I'm not sure what you want to call it, to be honest. Like the way that I look at it is every region that we have allocated will have a 4-byte. So for every single cell, there'll be a 4-byte integer, which is the entity reference, and we'll just maintain the references basically. When an entity moves, we'll move it throughout that 3D grid. So we can always look it up easily. But obviously you might want some things like projectiles. When those things move through the world, you don't want it to go into this grid, because if you have two projectiles, you want them to probably allow to overlap, maybe. I think we might have ways to exclude entities from this lookup table, perhaps. So weather like today in the UK, it's all right. It's a bit warm, but it's not massively warm. I guess it's quite nice to go outside. I've just not had the chance to go outside today. But yeah. I think the only other thing we think about is projectiles, really. Like if these guys were to shoot stuff going this way, those could be just part of a different system, though, right? If they're not, well, no, because no, yeah, they might be just part of a different system. You might just have a particle system that doesn't really. It can interact with the entity world, but the particles are a different system. Yeah, maybe every entity just goes into this thing. That'd be cool. Yeah, we'll try that. Because we're not doing any sort of like physics with these entities, like proper physics. So maybe just having a separate particle system would be good enough. So we want to say like region, regions, region grids. It's kind of like region 3D pointer as well. Maybe just call it cells, regions cells. So in that it's a 3D grid. So 3D lookup table, something like that. So we just move them throughout that table, and I guess if you zero the reference, it should be, yeah, 0, be a null ID, a null reference. So let's like instantiate this thing. So that'll be in system initialize. So should be quite all right. We're just going to say gent system equals core allocate array, passed in type T, which is the entity reference, the allocator, then how many we're going to have. So basically it's the number of its regions spec region dims times spec region grid dims. That gives us the number of cells. So I think so that's it initialized. Let's just assume it's all zeroed. That's the way the rest of it works for now. So the next thing we want to do is when we actually move the entities around, we're going to want to put them in this lookup table. So as part of this here, this is when we start the frame. We're going to isn't it? Yeah. We're going to start to all those entities that we created last frame, we're going to commit them now so they're available this frame. So we need to go over all of the new entities in this region and take their reference and put them in the 3D grid. So I guess we can just make some locals. New count. Okay. And then obviously we kind of want to keep this. But what we want to do is insert that for loop, which is going to go over all of those entities. So this would be like a relative entity index. So we need to get the base index. So we need a region flat index, whatever that is. Yeah, so region flat. Right, so for the archetype, we're going to get the number of entities, the capacity for the number of entities for this archetype per region, and then go over all the regions, get the old count, then go over all the new entities that have been added, get the base index, then we can go entity ref, nref, reference equals nref, archetype with the full-on entity index. Now once you have this, it's a simple case of getting the, well, we should get the full-on n index. It's a simple case of looking up the coordinates, or in the coordinates with the entity index, get the coordinate, and now that 3D coordinate we can simply insert into that lookup table. So we pull, so what I think we need to do is, wait, hang on a minute. Crap. Cells capacity. So this, maybe you want to let the whole world dims. Which be multiplying those two together, that's a 3D vector. And then we want to be able to do multiply or product all the elements. And that'll give you your cells capacity. Yeah. Okay. So in here, we need to get the region lookup table actually. And I need to figure out how we're going to index into this. So the way that I think about it is we take the region flat index, so just an index of the region. We can multiply that by the number of cells per region. Right, so cells per region is just the product of every element of the region dims. So we're going to be doing this in a few places, right? So I think it's probably best if we have a way to just get a pointer to this and just make a function for it. So I think we can make a function called static. Well, so you got, when you want to yeah, let's just make one function. Need two functions actually. So publicly we'll just say, you know, entity entity at, right, get entity at set or something like this. Just trying to think some good things. Like, I imagine if we could say nref at But you never want to set one. You always just want to get it, I guess. Yeah, so nref at. So you pass in that 3D sort of coordinate, like world space coordinate. But then you do kind of need a set one. And we can make that separately. So you'd need the cell. Yeah, so the number of cells per region. So number of cells per region. That is G and system. Region grid. No, just region dims. So we just do X, Y, Z, multiply them all together. And that would be the number of cells per region. So now with that, we can get the region flat index from the coordinate. I guess we'll do that. You need the region coordinate though. Right, so this is one. Right, world space coordinate. So that gets the region flat index. We can then work out some offset. Yes, you see, I could just do one big 3D grid. I don't know. We can change it later. It doesn't actually matter. It's purely a runtime thing, so it can be optimized later for better efficiency. So we say like region. Yeah, maybe in that case we just do one big 3D grid. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, perhaps it would just be easier to just take the coordinate and do a 3D lookup into it. So it'd be something like that. So in that sort of like entity system, maybe we have a pre-multiplied version of the cell grid dims. Right, so cell is obviously 1. This gives us, every cell. Yeah, it's the whole world. So we can pre-calculate that in the initialize function. Yeah, world dims, that'll be it. Yeah, so we can use this now in that ref at 3D coordinate. Yes, it's this here. This be the cells grid dims. Nice. get rid of that. Right, cells. So yeah, it's just a standard, you know, take a 3D coordinate and flatten it down to a 1D index. The issue with this is that it goes along the x-axis first, and then when it's finished going across the whole world along the x, it goes down by 1 on the y. So in memory, one-dimensionally, your neighboring cells are going to mostly be along the x-axis, so you're not going to get any cache efficiency when you step. If you were to ask for the ones forward and back and up and down from you, you won't have any sort of 3D cache efficiency. So we can do a better 3D packing thing later on. Yes, this will just be the you know, the index into the table, and we should just be able to say return g-ent system, something like that. Ta-da! So we need another version. So I guess we can say to do improved packing for better 3D cache efficiency. So also, right, let me just quickly, good. So another thing as well is that we might want to have yeah, rather than redoing this maths all the time, it might be better to have like something like an iterator structure in a sense, but which is good at caching where you last looked up, and maybe you can just add some numbers to move to the next one or something like that. So maybe we do something like that in the future, but that's for future me to look at. So this will just be good enough for now. So we go down to that initializer. We're going to add a static function. This is basically just saying store at, right? So you store at coordinate, some NRF. And then we can always change the implementation later. So effectively, when we say we've created a bunch of entities, we go over the ones we have created this frame, and we simply say entref store at. Probably could be a better name, but there you go. So it stores in that 3D lookup table. Cool. So there's a few more places we've got to do this. So when you delete an entity, we're going to put a null one in there. And you know what? I haven't done a null one yet. So that would just be entref 0, just like that. Same with the ID as well. The ID's probably got the same sort of thing. See, that wants an ID one, so ID. Cool. So what we want to do is when you delete entity reference, what's interesting is you need to get the coordinate. There's a remove here. All right, so in the remove, do we want to do anything special with the lookup table? Because we call remove here as well. No, we won't do it there. All right, let's do it here. So we need to get the coordinate first. So we'll fish out the coordinate. Ent coord get, I think. and we're going to, at that coordinate, we're now going to store the ent ref null in that 3D lookup table, because we simply have deleted the entity there. Yeah, so maybe we should delete entities first, because if we delete then create an entity in the same place, we would have stored one at the new place and then deleted one, right? So we have to do the deletion first. Then we can then do the movement, right? So the movement, this one's saying, hey, I'm going to move an entity to a new place. On success, you want to, I don't know, actually, it's a bit, so your entity reference is going to move around. You're going to copy one from an old place. And then have a new old ref. Right. You're just changing the reference. So your position would have changed as well. Right, so on success, you would mark your old location as null and your new location as the new reference. It should be that simple. So on success, you take your old coordinate, let's get the coordinate as well. Hey Brod, how's it going? Evening. What color scheme are you using today? Looks different to usual. Yeah, I'm using, I switched over to the Helix editor. So I'm using Nord Light. So yeah, Helix comes with a bunch of themes built in. So it's pretty cool. Although I don't really like too many of them, to be honest. Because I have quite a specific thing where I don't like too many colors. Yeah, maybe it could change and give some more a go. Yeah, but maybe perhaps they will grow on me a bit. Oh yeah, so I'm not a fan of group pastels. A lot come with, yeah. It's kind of crazy. I was using Iceberg before, and then I had a sort of custom one based on one called Accent. It's quite good. They're quite minimal. But I want to recreate it, but I just haven't had the willpower to do it, to be honest. Much rather do other things. So old coordinate. So the old coordinate will store null. Then the new coordinate on a success. We're going to store the new reference. So the new reference, what a bugger. Well, we could take a pointer, take a lovely putter. And ref and we'll simply change it down here somewhere. And ref, right, we set that one up, that's good. So back outside this function, well, just say, right, request reference. So we're going to move it from the old place to the new place with the new entity reference, because it could have moved between pools. Or it could have moved between regions, should I say. That's pretty nice. Have I completed it now? Is there anything that stands out to me which could be wrong? So you can delete by putting a null in. You can initialize the new ones that get added to the world. You can as part of the movement, we probably want to look in that 3D lookup table itself and be like, is there anything here? And then deny moving there. So we already have a thing which has a false, which says, hey, if the region is full, I can't move there. But there's a new one where we're going to go, hang on a minute, if nref at coordinate is not null, then return false. Right, that's a new one. So we can't now have overlapping entities. Cool. So I guess let's give all that a go. Be a bit of fun. Yeah, let's see if it all compiles. Oh. .485 request 491. Right, request is the new coordinate. Sweet. So, I think we'll just do a bunch of printing. Hang on a minute. Ugh. So I think we'll just do a bunch of printing and just sort of see like when the thing moves. Oh, that's not moving freely anymore, is it? Look at you. That's obviously getting filled up with data. Right. So this is not working. Huh? On success. Did we even update the coordinate when we moved the... Did I make it part of the copy functions? Yeah, I made it part of the copy functions, I'm pretty sure I did. Entity generated. Copy. Yeah, they moved the coordinate. They moved the old coordinate. Rookie mistake. Pool coordinates destination index equal coordinate. Right, so that should mean that we're not... we should have the correct data in the 3D table now. Yeah. Right, this seems to be... it's still jumping around. That should smoothly just be walking along. Well, smoothly, I mean by going to every single cell, by jumping to them. But yeah, it's definitely getting filled up over time, still. Right, if we remain in the same region, simply update the coordinate. Right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to print out a strip of what we're seeing. So we'll just do a for loop in the main loop. And we're just going to say, like, for every z going from 0 to, I think it was where are we moving it? Yeah, 12. Right, 0 to 12. We want to like just query. I want to query the entity that we find. Let's call it the strip. And we're just going to have a bunch of commas separated. So another one is printfs. We'll just print out like a bunch of numbers. We could probably say how many digits we're probably going to have for an entref. We'll probably do hexadecimal, and we can pad it out to 8 digits. And we'll just put a comma and a space after it. It doesn't have to be precise. Then we'll say entref at our new lovely function, right? Yeah, so this one that we're moving is at 6, 0, and then whatever the z is, right? So 6 along the x, 0 along the y, the up and down, and then we'll put in the z. Yeah, so if we just print that out, dot raw, okay. Hopefully, we see what's going on. Right. So as you see, it's leaving some of them in there. So if you see this player that's moving, this array represents that Z position. It just slowly fills up. So if we play it back again, if you watch this line, it starts off by moving. Right, so what it appears to be is when it changes regions, the problem happens. It doesn't get rid of the old one. Interesting. Why is that? Because we handled it, right? I used to think it did. Yeah, I don't understand what we're doing wrong here. So we've got the old coordinate for the entity. It goes and does the move on success. New. I guess we can print it out doesn't it? So we just print out the old coordinate, right? Success, right? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, what happened there? Then we do a little arrow, just like with little arrows, you know. Old coordinate dot x. Right, so y then z. Then we guess we can take all these. That's the new coordinate. Rightio. Hopefully that's alright. So we should see it. We'll be able to like, there we go. So where's the first frame? Right, so these are the first frames, right? So it teleports it from there to there and does it successfully. As you see, the entity reference changes to something completely different. But it's the same entity, right? But it's in a different place in the pools, so it's just been copied to a new place because it's in a new region. And the regions, the entities within a region are contiguous in memory. So it's start off as 0, 0, 0, but we teleport it at the first frame to here. Then after this, it's going to go forward, then backwards along the Z axis. So this is when we start getting a success, apparently. How is it doing it twice in a frame? It's going like, yeah, we're moving forward then backwards. Ta-da! Seems a bit bananas. Then this one says like, boom, success, moves. Where is 6 again? So we've got regions of 4 by 1 by 4, isn't it, I think? Yeah, 4 by 4 by 2 by 4? What? We have 2. Why aren't we seeing the 2 boxes then? Go into the render real quick. Region grid dims, of course. Right. Yes, each region is 2 in height, 4 by 4 along the X and Z. And then we've got this many regions. So we've got 3 regions across, 3 regions far, and 1 region up. So when it's at 6, that isn't on the boundary. 7 isn't on the boundary either. But 8 will be. 8 will go to the next one. Right, let's rerun that again so we can see the data again. There we go. So for the first so many frames, it just stays in one place. Then it moves to this is 6, 7, then 8. So when it jumps to another region, as you tell, it's got a new number there. This one's not being rubbed out for some reason. We've got again a bit of a weird thing here. We're saying it's going to 7 to 8 and then 7 to 7. So I think we got something wrong with our queue. I don't know what it is. But we should be clearing it every frame, but I don't think we are. So all of our movement is deferred because it's the easiest way I've managed to figure out how we're going to. So you can say within a frame, you go, hey, I want to move this entity here. And then it will try and move it there. Maybe we can make it instantaneous. But then we've got to be careful with threading. So just puts it on a queue, and then it will do it at the start of the next frame. So right, maybe the entity reference doesn't get updated. I think it does. So the ID is persistent between frames, but when it moves between regions, the reference is going to no longer be valid. But I didn't do the print. So this is the thing about that we're moving. So if we're moving an old reference, then we haven't updated that one. And that could be part of the problem because it would just keeping the old reference back into the queue again, and then it would. So right, where does it get duplicated? Damn it, this thing's not in hexadecimal like the other ones. Right, so hopefully that's alright. Right, so it is moving 1C0, but the 100 one didn't go. But right, so the interesting thing is here, it says, right, I'm moving 100. Okay, then we scan the entity array, and we don't see 1C0 in there. Right, when are we doing the printing? Right, this is the printing done end of the frame for this one. And then it does the moving. Okay, it's a bit odd the way it's grouped together. But then there's two things in here. There's two successes. So, right. Within the same frame, there's two successes. So it moves it across the boundary and then also keeps it in the same place. So I think what we're doing is the move code is just horrible. So I think we've got one request in there. Maybe we've got two requests. I'm a little confused. So what we want to say is like when the Z. Oh, we can't know that. Oh, yeah, we can. Right, I'm going to put a bit of code I'm going to delete. So we'll just say if the request count greater than 0, then we're going to go ahead and get the request out and get the coordinate. And we'll say if the coordinate.z is equal to if old coord.z equal 7, or let's say if the new one is equal to 8. Then we know it's trying to move there, and we can look at the old one. We'll put a breakpoint in here. Right, that'll be cool. So that should help us. Figure out what's going on, hopefully. From that, so we should hit the breakpoint. There you go. So we'll run it in the debugger this time. Catch it there. So apparently we've got old coordinate of 8. Does that mean it's already moved there? How could it already have moved there? Like you've got a 8. Right, because there's maybe multiple of them. We're only looking at the first one. Right, let's go over all of them in a for loop. How's it going? Thanks, stream. Cheers. See you later, Joe. Stay good to see you. Have a good rest of your evening. See you in the future, my friend. Right, so here we hit it quite early, I think. Old coord.z 7. Perfect. So 1. We've got 2 move requests. So apparently what happens is it failing to move, like, is failing to move because it hits itself? That's why. That's okay. So, right, so saying fate, I think this is the problem, right? If that is not equal to the entity that we're trying to move. So if there's an entity where we're trying to move and it's not us, then fail. We had it a bit different. Right, let me remove that sig trap now. I think this is good. I think this is the logic we've been needing. I mean, afterwards we can have a bit of fun, populate the map with some tiles, and see what goes on. Right now it's always failing. So it's always failing because... Right, so I think let's call it twice. If not equal null and not equal me. I think that's the issue. Oh, it seems to be moving. I can see it in the standard out without putting duplicates in to the table. Look at that. So if we go up here. Okay, the guy's moving again, and we're inserting into the 3D grid and removing from the 3D grid successfully. And as you can tell, the number changes when it changes regions. It might be a bit hard to see, but at the end it's 1C0 and at the beginning it's 040. So yeah, the reference has been updated correctly. This is the strip of Z that is running down. There you go. Cool. So now I think we have everything in place to utilize this map thing. So I think we should have a bit of fun. Build like, just put a floor down, put these entities on top, and have something set up which shows us some demonstration of what we've built at least. Yeah, that'd be cool. So let's get rid of this crap code. Nice. Alright, so let's go to the layout file. Yeah, we've got the block. Okay, so when we create the entity, let's get rid of this strip thing now. Alright, so nice. So we're going to instantiate a 3D grid of things. We could probably just do, let's do the bottom layer. So we'll move these entities up by one. These are the players, and then we'll spawn a bunch of, so it's 12 in it. We'll just spawn like a floor of tiles, and then maybe we'll put a tile on top. Perhaps, we'll see. But let's just get the floor on first. So we'll say ent block b, we'll call it b.coordinate equal x0z, right? Then the model b.model, and this is just some hard-coded model right now. We haven't got an asset system or assets in general, so it's just hard-coded. So we've got a block, we could call it a box, or we could call it tile, to be honest. Tile could work. Use the tile one for now. I think that'd be good enough. Then we could put the box on the top. I see nothing. Oh, I didn't create it, that's why. And block init deferred, address of B, jobs again. So hopefully that all works. Nothing. This one's not even wanting to move either. Right, that's because these should be there. So what's interesting is that the iterator that displays that tries to render the things is probably not picking up on the block archetypes and trying to render those. So that's another bug to fix. But also when we're trying to move our entity around, we're putting it on 0, we should put it on 1. So that one should now move around correctly. Yes, it's moving around correctly now. That's cool. But we still need to put the floor down. So it should be iterating here. So we should be able to say archetype. Archetype, some of that. And it should show up 1 and 2, 1 and 2, it's doing it. But something else is wrong. Right, I think I have an idea what's going on. So when you go through the next ranges, each next range is a region. So maybe it should be called next region. It gives you back a range. I don't know. But I think we're not resetting the start. We have a region start coordinate, and we have a start and an end. And we iterate over all the regions. So I think when we go to the next archetype, what we're missing is region coord equal region start. So start from the beginning again and go over all the regions. So I think that's what was missing. So we should hopefully see a full floor. There we go. Look at this beauty. Alright. Not sure what the frame rate is, but there we go. Seems alright. Just, yeah, it's cool. Alright, it's kind of flickers in places, but it's alright. So then I guess we can put like a block. Great. Nothing better than a flickery scene. Then we could. It's alright, we've got things to improve. Just having the basics here, we can fix them later. Yeah, I wonder what we should do to demo something. We could probably have a block that bleeps in and out of existence. Right, stays there for 2 seconds, goes away, stays there, you know. My concern is, yeah, we'll just do a create and destroy thing. You're right. Then that shows create and destroy and stuff. But also, I think we could change this out for a box. And it would make the performance better and hopefully less glitches. But then it covers the person. It's still glitchy. Yeah, I think the rate traversal is a bit messed up by the looks of it. Whoopsie. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll have an accumulator and we'll just create and destroy some kind of block piece or whatever. So what we'll do is do it somewhere here. Oh, there's the accumulator, right? So we'll say if the accumulator is like, we'll mod it and say every like 3 seconds or something. blink the block into existence. Hey Bassandra, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. If f mod f accumulator 3. Is that what we want to do? No. Yeah, we'll do this. Then we'll do a division. Wait. Stack NID blink NID to zeroed. If we have an entity ID, if we don't have, so we have one. If f mod f accumulator was a divide maybe, and then probably a truncate. If that is, so if at first it's not going to exist, and then it's going to exist. So if it's not even, we'll destroy it, and then when it's even, we'll create it. So destroying it and dinit deferred, passing the reference, and ref from ID, blink and ID. Nice. And then we just repeat this kind of logic here. So that would just be is equal, and then we'll grab that block initialization thingy. Nice. But this time we'll put it at a very specific place. So it needs to be at 6, 1, and then we'll put it at 6 in the middle. 6, 1, 6. Now hopefully that'll interrupt the person that's there. Now we may or may not be able to put... Oh. The question is then, like, what happens if you can't spawn? If I try and create an entity in a place where there already is an entity, there's a problem. It's not been handled explicitly. It's fine if you want to place an entity down where an entity wants to move the next frame. That's going to work okay. It's just the other way around. Blink. Yeah, on the untyped one. Blink equals ent ID null. Fighting allergy of some sort here. Oh no, is it? No, it's allergy season. Is it like hay fever or something? Oh yeah, I forgot. It's going to go through it, isn't it? That's funny. But also, like, why hasn't it been deleted? Every 3 seconds. Um, the 0 to 3, when it reaches... Yeah, see, I wonder what this is. Keep an eye on the terminal for that number. It goes to 1 now. Yeah, I don't get what's going on. It should be deferred destroying it. But I guess, is it creating it the same... in the next frame, is it creating it? You're meant to be destroyed. So I see the entity is getting blocked, but it is going through it because we basically just teleport to the next one anyway. So we might put a few of them down instead. Or maybe we'll... let's print out like... boom. Or like... destroy and create. So I wonder if it gets created and destroyed in the same frame. It prints out a bunch of zeros, then on 1. Yeah, so that's only because it's here. And then it did wait a while, then it did create. I saw it. So it is... so the destroy is just not... oh, what's going on there? Sounds bananas to me. Have we destroyed stuff before? I don't think so. Maybe we haven't. So maybe there might be a bug in this code. Well, the move uses the remove. It does use that. And it removes the ID from the pool. But yeah, I'm doing good percentage, not doing bad. Pretty tight though. You know, same old. It's been working quite hard today at work and, you know. But doing good. Doing good. Getting a bit warm now. Oh. So what's up with the what's up with the destroy? Let's put a breakpoint in here and analyze what's going on. Oh, damn it. I know what's going on. I'm copying the damn... So, we've got a bit of a predicament now, I think. We want to do the destroys first. Right, so I think we need to do... Right, so we need to remove them from the... Okay, I got it now. What crap is that? Okay. So we was missing the first element for some reason because I copied and pasted a problem. But that's not it, I think. There's another problem that comes from this. So we need to split it into two. Right, so first of all we execute the deferred delete entries from the cells 3D lookup table first. Right, so we just remove it from there first. Then we create the entities. This copies the counts, the region entity counts from the one that we said next frame will be available, and we store it on there. And now we can perform the deletes, which will change these counts for each region. So the reason why the store has to happen before is so that the 3D grid gets a null entry where you delete something, because if you created something in the same place that you deleted something in the same frame, if you will, yeah, you don't want to delete the thing you've just created, so that needs to happen before. So that should do it. Maybe you can't create something in the same frame. Yeah, I think you can. Or can't you? Because, yeah, that's something that we haven't sorted out yet. Is that when I create an entity, if there's something already there, what do? We should probably assert. And it's up to the person creating the entity to make sure there is not an entity there. So in that case, we should actually be able to just delete that, remove it from the 3D grid there. And then whenever we do a create, so that was in, so it's in the generated code, like a initialize organism. Yeah, so in the archetype ent alloc deferred, we'll check in there, is there anything there? So we'll do lovely assert that ent reference at 3D coordinate dot raw is equal to 0, or ent ref null dot raw. So we'll say cannot create an entity here as there is already an entity here. So we should, when we create entities, or the other thing we could do is try and put it to the one next door, or I don't know. Huh. Did it just access a null? Did it just access an element that shouldn't have? All right, let me remove those tiles, and we'll print it out. Print out a model. So I guess when we destroy it, oh, that froze. Model ID 0, null. It's printing out a whole load of zeros though. Right, okay. So it seems like it's looping over every single entity that's ever allocated, right? So I feel like we underflowed something. Right, I have an idea what's going on. So I think in the iterates, right now in this frame, right, so we put the new count in there. Then the remove. Yeah, I think we need to put a breakpoint in there and just see what goes on, because yeah, something really bad is happening. Cool, we have the breakpoint, that's nice. Let's give that a run. So we removed the entity from the archetype pool here. Hop in 256. So we get the pool region entity counts region flat index 1. So you have 1 in there, we take 1 away. Now there's another one, which is the next frame 1. 1. So again, we took away 1. Pretty legit. You see, I wonder if we... Right, then we clear the queue. You know what, maybe we hit here next frame as well. Yeah. Okay, so we don't hit here next frame. But for some reason the iterator has now been messed up. Why would the iterator be messed up? So I'll go over the archetypes. And go over all the regions. I guess you get some real big number here. So we'll print it out. Well, there's our friend, right? So this frame we got 211. Next frame we got 211. Next frame we got a 2. Whatever that is, right? -1, eh? Why? If it does a delete, it didn't shuffle anything around either. Hmm. Hmm. So we just decrement this, right? So when does whatever region become that? So I guess we can print out the region indices. And then probably print out like so region flat index, yeah. Now I think we have that region flat index in the deletion as well, so we'll do that. Have a bit of a understanding what's going on, hopefully. Yeah, here we go. So we'll print out like a region flat index. Hopefully this helps us out. Right, here we go. So we delete 2 entities, eh? 2 entities. Well, because one is moving. So one of them... So region 4 is fine. So the remove function is used in 2 places. It's used for removing an entity and then moving. Because at the end of a move, we call a remove to remove it from the old place. So what is my concern with this? So by the looks of it, it's the move that's doing it. So we'll do a big old print here. and hopefully that would clear things up for us. Yeah, so the one that had the problem is the move. The move. So if we deleted an entity from region 4, right, so at this point, region 4 had one entity and another region 4 had another entity for a different archetype. This is what we're reading. So obviously when we delete one from region 4, that's okay. If it's only when the delete happens, this is my problem. Am I getting the right archetype when I do this? Maybe we should add that information as well. Where's the iterator? Here we go. Shylex, it's been a while. How you been? Thank you so much for the sub. Really appreciate it. Appreciate all the support you've given me so far as well. How's it going? Yep. Helps me think, you know. Had a bit of a trim though, so I've, you know, I haven't got the maximum thinking ability I used to have. But yeah, how's things been? It's been a while. What have you been up to? Right, so if this is better information, definitely just more numbers on the screen, but right, so we try and remove this entity, it's archetype 2, so this guy gets reduced, so we no longer have a region 4 for archetype 2. We can see they're reflected in the next frame. And then we move region 1, archetype 1, region 1, or an entity within that. We delete it from there. I don't see no region 1, archetype 1 in an existing set of entities. So by the looks of it, there's been something playing up. Right. I know what it is. Wait. No, maybe not. I have an idea though. It's definitely to do with the move code. For the remove, it might be because we're spawning. Yeah, neurons grow in beard. It's true. Facts. Going good. Not much time to work on my stuff. Being all over the place. Been looking very. But this is looking very impressive now. Love the way the line is starting to look. Sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I got PBR in. We're currently trying to work on a bit of the game technology side. So we can build like an editor. But yeah. Yeah, build an editor so we can build models and then go back to graphics again and make it look even better. But yeah, things are going good. That's cool. Like, I guess she's been busy with work and maybe a bit of personal life. How's how's the job going? Hey Alex, good to see you. Good to see you. How are you, sir? Hmm. So, say if we take out the movement code, does the problem go away? Being sick of the weekend bubble is good. Oh. Aha, the box does disappear. And the box comes back. Disappears. Comes back. Right. Interesting. What happens if I move the box and keep the movement code? So if I don't make them overlap in the same place. Let's put it to the left. Right, so now if it doesn't crash when it disappears, it's because, damn it. It happened to be the interaction of when they are in the same place or something. Alright, it's cool. We've narrowed down the problem. So to do when we move the entity and delete one at the same time, when they possibly want to go into the same place. Something like that. I've tried Odin. I haven't bothered downloading it, but I've read a whole bunch of stuff about it. Yeah. I think it's probably one of the best new age languages, you know, fit under that umbrella. I do like a lot of the stuff about it, but yeah, still not really worth jumping over to anything yet. C is good enough, I think. Please say your thoughts at all times. Oh, if I can hear people's thoughts at all times while they're playing your game, but only the negative ones, would you choose to have that power? No? Why? Like reading like negative comments is hard enough. Why would you want to hear any of the negative thoughts? And also you'd just be like surrounded with just these thoughts that you can hear. You've been very thorough for sure. Everything I've done in mine is much more bare bones, do the minimal needed. Just be busy at work. We release in 2 weeks or something. Wow. Been everywhere, sort of things. Sort of things for the day one patch. Nice. That's pretty cool. You get to work on something that's coming out. Fantastic. Anything I've contributed to that's come out is Tren in Dreams, and I did some other things like stickers in Dreams, but yeah, the sticker technology got used in Tren a lot. Good old Tren. So these ramps were like decals. For crying out loud, Google. Yeah, so like these were like decals because we didn't have texturing in Dreams because it was sculpts. So everything here is all decals, which I put in basically. and that's the only thing I've released. But as a video game. But yeah, that's cool, man. That's exciting. Are you looking forward to the release? How about your end? Have you been working on Astrobot? Someone I missed anything there? No. Astrobot is part of Team Asobi, isn't it? They're in Japan. And I ain't in Japan. But yeah, it's been good. Just been busy, been spending time with family, spending time with my boy, and my wife. Having lots of good fun. Yeah, good times. But yeah, been busy, been trying to figure out this I'm not sure if you've seen what this sort of game technology plan document. So we're doing this entity system right now. I've got like a YouTube video which goes over it all in detail. So it's the next 8 months worth of work with the main goal of building editors to make models. When I have some models I can make, I can then change the renderer and make it better. Then yeah. Then iterate, and amazing. So iterate on renderer, iterate on the editor, and build tooling to help make this game, and then eventually get back and make the game. So yeah, it should be good. I'm probably going to skip on the multi-threading stuff, to be honest. I put up a thing on the Discord with my thoughts about it. I've been thinking, this entity stuff has taken a little bit longer than I planned, and I was thinking, what things is there anything I can kind of skip on? And this seems like the only one. So it's the job system, multi-threading, because I don't think, literally, if I just add an editor, so there's a bunch of UI code, there's probably a saving and loading thing, right, to disk. There's probably not that much more systems that will have to be jobified anyway. So I'm thinking that this could probably just be saved for later on. So we'll probably put that on the back burner. So yeah, I posted my reasoning up here. Anyway, on the Discord. But yeah, so that'll be cool. Get working on an editor soon. Gonna work on like a serialization system first. Can't believe this is all you shipped with how much you've got going on this project. Thank you. Yeah, it's mainly just because, when I was developing my skills, I spent ages just building stuff in different ways and learning. And I think that's where just a lot of my time went. I did build loads of prototypes. Like I build a prototype and I'll look at it and be like, I'm not sure if I have the ability to carry this into a full game. And so I would build a new prototype, learning from the past mistakes and just trying things out differently, building a new type of engine and going again. So a lot of the time it was obviously 2D. And then I wanted to actually get a job in the industry. So I went and made a 3D game engine in Vulkan. The graphics weren't that great, but it had a custom physics. It was a little arena game where there's these orbs and you can sort of like slingshot up onto them and then run on walls and stuff. But yeah. Yeah, and then I got a job in the industry and then decided to start a new project again, which is my custom compiler. So yeah, I never felt like I was capable of finishing a game, but I think I am now. So I feel confident now. So this is where I'm at. Yeah, so right now with this project, the idea, right, is do all the sort of foundational work and get rid of all the, like, first, there's many aspects to this project. It's a portfolio piece. It is a hopefully a future project that I can work on and release, right, and have some alternate form of revenue or something or whatever, right? Or maybe it could help. Maybe I can find someone who wants to fund it and take it further. But right now, it's just that portfolio piece is also educational material for everyone. And I want to get it to a place where I've prototyped the graphics, I've got the tooling in place to develop it, and I've prototyped the game idea, and I'm like, this is what I want. And then figuring out how to achieve release will be another separate thing. Like, do I need to find funding? Do I need to build a bit of a bigger team, or outsource? So there's all that sort of stuff to come in the future. But for now, it's just, building that prototype and then figuring out exactly what it is I want to build for the final game. I've got to set aside some time for like you just to get on with it. I let any little thing come up as an alternative and leave behind my project. Oh, that's a shame. Well, you can start streaming. It's a good way to doing it. Consistent. Hop on, do the stream, and yeah, it's one way of doing it. But yeah, I think what helps me is I'm always thinking about my project when I'm not at work and thinking about work. I'm sort of amped about what's this next thing I'm doing. Oh, I haven't thought about this thing yet. Think that thing through, and that's enough to keep the momentum for me to have the willpower to come and work back because I'm just excited about the next thing. But yeah, I guess that's the secret, if you will. Just daydreaming, man. That's the secret. Oh, and turning off distractions. That's another one. Very easy, just open up YouTube. Yeah, so we delete an entity and then we move. You see, I wonder. So if we say, hey, move to a coordinate, but you failed to move there. We did try that out, wasn't it? You failed to move there because there's an entity there. It won't update the coordinate, right? Right. Yeah, I think this might be it. So we assert that the request. if the old reference is equal to entref at old coordinate, right? If it's not, then this is where the problem is. So expected old entity reference at the old coordinate. So I think this is what's happening, is because we might spawn an entity on, I don't know. Something to do with delete an entity and right, it crashes again. What's it crashed on? Ah, it did crash here. Right. So what entity is that? Is that the new block? If entity is not equal to null and it's not equal to me, turn. Yeah, definitely do that too. I lose sleep with thinking about what else I could do and how I could do it. But as you say, it's distractions, right? Fair play. That's cool. Yeah, those things do take time. I remember when I used to get distracted, I always used to be like, there was a muscle memory, Alt Tab, YouTube, and I'll be on YouTube within like just one quick switch. You know what I mean? And then I'll just be like browsing. And it did take time to do that. I think I would. I forgot what I did. Maybe I signed out of YouTube or something like that, and made it harder. There's always these things in life, right, where you have a very hard thing to kick, and it just takes time to kick it. But you just got to put in the effort. Mm-hmm. Oh, your distractions are your other dream projects, right? Great. A lot of hobbies there. But yeah, there's so many things that are kicked. I've been able just to like work out every other day. Quite easy now. Used to be a lot of effort. Being tempted to eat sugar, that's gone now. That took a lot of effort. It took me 7 years. Like you just walk past an aisle and you just see chocolate and you're just like, oh. And you go and buy one, you'll feel naughty, you know. But yeah. Or the worst one is when you see someone else eating a piece of cake and you go, that cake looks good. I could probably have some cake. I've been a good boy. And then you sign that piece of cake. Next thing you know, you're back in Sainsbury's or wherever buying some chocolate. And off you go again. But yeah, bad habits. Never had that problem. I have a sensitive tongue, so can't drink anything carbonated. Oh. And most things taste weird. Tastes. Right. Interesting. It's strange that you know that things taste weird. You know what I mean? Because to you, that's normal. So, how do you, what foods and drinks do you stick with? Or do you just stick with water? Yeah. So what's going on with this entref thing? Or orange juice. Right, so why could there be an entity, like it says here, right? If the entity at that coordinate, oh, the new coordinate. So I wonder what is that the old one? You know what I mean? Is it? Right, what coordinate is it on? What are you on the boundary? No, you're in 6. So 8 would be the boundary, so it would be on 7. Right. So put the old coordinate in there. That'd be useful. You know, we'll put hexadecimal. Begot ref. Right. So it'd be old ref dot raw. New ref. So ent ref at old coord dot raw. Right, so let's see a better set. Well, let's actually just see the data that we're looking at. What? Oh, old raw dot raw. Right, what's going on here? Okay, so taking a look again. Oof. So old reference, begot new reference, null. At old coordinate 6, 1 times 0. What? So at 0 on the Z, like, what do you mean 0 on the Z? Because you would just went all the way up to the top of the map and went down again. I don't think I can trust this old ref thing, like, or the old coordinate thing. Like, that seems a bit bizarre. So let's punch in the old coordinate every time. Let's do a bit of a print. So we'll just print out our coordinates, see what happens. You know, like when we're moving, it should read something quite sensible, to be honest, but shoot. Right, so as we're seeing, it's incrementing the old coordinate, okay? What the crap? Okay. So it probably bumps into the box here and doesn't move successfully, right? It doesn't move. So what might be interesting is that we still keep printing it, right? Why is there a bunch of old chord zeros in there? Let's put a count in there as well. Let's put an index in there or something. Get out. Okay, so there's 12 movement requests going on. What the crap? So we start the frame. Right, so clearly the queue is not getting... yeah, clearly the queue is not getting reduced at all. So in goes the breakpoint. It's a little bit bizarre. So let's analyze this. So the way it was saying is first frame maybe there's 0, then there's 2, then there's 3. Right. The code is a little bit weird. It's a bit complicated, but... Right, let's get a bit of GF going. So yeah, we're doing this movement request thing, we've got 0. Right, so you do nothing, resize it to 0. Done. So then we set deferred. This will push an element on. Right, pushes an element on. Let's continue. Next frame, we land here. We've got 1. So we go around the old chord, rinse that out. It failed to move. Bum, bum, bum. Right, so I'm queuing up a bunch of failures. Okay, that's what's going on. But there's still a second question. So we need to overwrite the failed move. That's for 1. But there's another problem on why did it fail? Right, it failed because There's already something there. I don't know what it was. We can have a look. Can we? Maybe. So G and system region cells 3D lookup table and ref of that. Yeah, it's definitely different. Maybe the box is there. That's why it's that box, isn't it? Right, okay, so that's interesting. So I think when we add to that deferred queue, move requests, we actually need to do a search first. And what we need to do is say if request reference is equal to nref.raw equals nref.raw, then we're going to simply Glorious, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Right, so I think that fixes the problem. Oh, I need to update the coordinate. Request chord equal chord. Right, it seems to be moving now. That was really silly. Right, so a box appears. And then it will just teleport through there, which is kind of silly. Because I just hard code set it. So maybe we could put a little bit of special code in there. In our test code to say don't move it more than one. Yeah, something like that. You get the old chord. Mostly drink water, but milk can help alleviate the pain from spicy stuff, which is most stuff with my tongue. Really? Interesting. So everything is automatically spicy. So since the baby has been born, we haven't really had too much spicy food, but usually me and my wife have like, put in like a Scotch bonnet or the bird's eye chilies, and just have like a meal or just blow our mouths off because we find it fun. But I guess having every meal like that is not going to be entertaining. But yeah, that sucks. So you'll stick to like bland food, is it then? Hey, Gloria, sir, doing all right? Not doing bad. Just been finishing up this entity system really. We've got a new 3D coordinate lookup table. So it stores an entity reference in a 3D lookup table. So we can say, hey, look at the grid and see if there's anything that's in there or not. So maybe that's what I'll do. Yeah, but then we've got an accumulator in it. Damn it. Maybe we'll have a separate accumulator. So we'll only increment the accumulator when there's not an entity where we want to move to. It's just some silly movement code. It's not meant to do anything other than be silly. Yeah, so we'll just put an if statement around here and say if so here's the new API. We've got this sort of like coord. That's it. We can get an entity reference at a specific coordinate. So we'll say like new coordinate. If that is equal to null or myself. Then we shall allow incrementing the accumulator. Terrible code. But it's cool. Right, so that would be new. No, the whole thing is new coordinate. Sweet. Right, that should be it. So it should stop at the box now, fingers crossed. But yeah, how's it been, Glorious? So have you been up to much? What have you been doing? Right, it seems to stop at the box. I was not... Right, there's the crash, right? Cannot create an entity when there's already an entity there. Maybe we should solve that in a better way in the future, but that's for future me to solve when I work on the game. So yeah, for now, we should also say if at this coordinate oh yeah, I got my game open in it. But yeah, we should say something like and entref at uh 616 dot raw equals 0, and that will then only put the box there when there isn't an entity there. All right. So that looks like that's solved. Yeah, look at that. So the player moves and it will get stuck at the box. Then when the box gets released, it will resume. It's just testing out like moving an entity between regions, spawning an entity, destroying an entity, and spawning it on top of another entity. Well, actually, no. Yeah, we've tested that code. That's got assertion. But also, if an entity is going to move where something gets spawned, it won't move there. And stuff like that, right? So that tests out that whole range of things at least. Yeah, so things are like they sort of jump at the moment. But when we do proper movement code, it will look smooth with rendering. But the underlying system will be using this sort of grid-based thing. And I should really enable those floor tiles, you know? Because we did kind of stop. It is a bit glitchy though, but it's alright. Sometimes you get some random things shown that's weird. But anyway, floor tiles. Yeah. Alright. Maybe I should reduce the thickness of these regions. So region where's the thickness here, right? So 0.5 is half it. So, and we'll delete all this printing code. That'll be all right. Maybe I should have a way to sort of hide and show this, but it's all right. Where's the printing code? Ent count, yes, in the entity. We'll see. Noise. Right. So I'll talk about what we're going to be working on after the entity stuff in just a moment. But I just want to say we've still technically got one more entity stream left. I want to make a devlog which goes over like this progress. So I want to recap like what we managed to achieve from the plan that we set out in the last devlog. There is a devlog on YouTube. Crying out loud. Yeah, I think it's the last video on YouTube, so it is there. So I'll watch that. Yeah, I'll give that a watch myself, and I want to make sure that we cover the things that we failed to do, and the things that we have, you know, some things that I've done which, you know, I've changed my mind in some cases, and also maybe we've done some things that we had not thought of in the plan. So I want to sort of get a list of those things together and show off the system, you know, the code generator, the code that gets generated, and that. Yeah. So that'll be on Thursday. But then after Thursday, we've got, you know, more streams in the works. So I've got this tech plan. As I mentioned, I'm probably going to be sunsetting. You know, I am sunsetting. Let's commit to it. So, yeah, put it down there. So it's at the bottom of the document now, out of the way. So the entity system is going to be done. Well, it is done. We just need to do a devlog for it now. So how many streams did we take in the end? Go to the VOD channel. So it says 6 streams. So I think I took 3 streams planning it. Like planning the API, and yeah, so 6, there's 9, then 10. So I went over by 4 streams. No biggie, so it's over by a week. So the next thing I'm going to work on is decoding and encoding structures, basically, right? Because we need to make an editor that saves and loads things. So we need a way to do this. In the past, I've done it many times, right? I've manually written out decoding and encoding code, but also automated it using type information by hand writing out the type information and feeding the type tables into a serializer. So I think I might do an in-between of both. You know, we've just code genned a whole bunch of entities and stuff, and I quite like the system. So I think I might stick on the code gen train, and basically have just read some structures in from a header file or something, or a custom file format, and then code generate a bunch of encoders and decoders for two specific formats. One will be text and one will be binary. We don't need anything else. And then that way will be fully debuggable. We'll be able to, step into things. We can put breakpoints in. We can have code written specifically for a specific encoder. So the text encoder will be different from the binary one. The text encoder is all about making things display nice in strings, whereas the binary encoder is all about packing things down into bits, right? Into the smallest bits possible. So yeah, we're going to be having probably special flags in the type information that we read from a file to say, like, in the text-based serializer we want to display as a hexadecimal thing or something, and then maybe in the binary serializer we want to pack it down into this many bits. But yeah, the system for automation is good, right? We like automating stuff, making things easier, but the problem was you had less control, wasn't it, with type tables. But with a code generator, you have control, right? So if you look at the entity system, we've got this layout file now. It's a custom file format. It's fully in my control. If I want to change it or add features to it, we can do that. But yeah, it's not going to be as good of control as simply handwriting the code and putting if statements in. But I think it's a good enough trade-off. Because the most annoying thing that I had with the type table thing is I would write this code that serializes that to a binary file. And if that had a bug in it, it was a pain, because it will be some specific type, some nested type, and it would have gone through all the different, it would have been so deep down in the stack and basically going over a bunch of for loops and function calls with more for loops and function calls. And it's very painful to debug and put breakpoints in the right places. So if we code gen everything out, it should reduce that problem and we'll have the control. So yeah, that's what I want to build next. And then we can make some very simple asset system which just loads from a file from a directory. And then move on to making a format for prefabs and having things we can load and save, like a level. Yeah, then after that it's basically editors, so that'd be proper cool. So let's find someone to raid. I'll next be on Thursday 7:30 p.m. GMT +1 and Sunday at 6 p.m. GMT +1. No way. Togglebit is streaming. This guy's making his own engine and stuff. Right. Thank you for coming, everyone. I'll see you all in a future one. Come and hang out in the Discord in the meantime. And yeah, have a good Wednesday. Hopefully see you all Thursday. And catch you later. Bye.